As of late, Lindsey Graham has been showing his true colors, especially when it comes to his stance on Brett Kavanaugh. Now, on 60 Minutes yesterday, Graham hung out with Republican Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana. Now, John Kennedy, of course, is also in favor of Kavanaugh, as are most of the Republicans. Now, he's going to be asked by host John Dickerson if there's anything that could actually change Lindsey Graham and John Kennedy's minds when it comes to their vote on Kavanaugh. So first, we're going to go to Mr. John Kennedy, who's going to give his answer, and then we're going to compare it with Lindsey Graham's answer. Let's take a look.
Could either of you change your minds depending on what the FBI report comes up with?
Of course. I mean, of course.
Open mind.
Absolutely. I said going into the hearing. I've talked to Judge Kavanaugh. I called him after this happened. The allegations came out. I said, did you do it? He was resolute, determined, unequivocal.
All right, so there's Kennedy saying, look, hey, man, I got an open mind. But then again, I know Kavanaugh, and he told me very, very strong denial. So that's kind of the Trump thing, right? Well, it's a strong denial. He denied it very, very strongly. Oh, okay, so you're going to believe that. I mean, I guess if you know, if you're buddy-buddy with Brett Kavanaugh, you think, no, my friend could never do anything like that. No. Yeah, but if you were actually Brett Kavanaugh's friend, at least if you were his friend from high school, you would absolutely know that he is capable of that because he has lied many, many times. And I know some people might ask, well, what did he lie about? Renata alumni? Come on, man. Not only that, but Boof about the Devil's Triangle. Those are just some of the lies that Brett Kavanaugh had come up with when he was basically, oh, no, Boof, that's just a fart. No, that's nothing. And Devil's Triangle, it's just a game of quarters. I've never heard of a game of quarters be called a Devil's Triangle before. And you know what? Nobody else has, unless you're going and editing Wikipedia pages. So, yeah, he's lied about that. And I think it's fairly obvious to people who are not viewing this through an incredibly partisan lens. But that's where, unfortunately, John Kennedy is coming from. And even he's like, look, man, open mind. You know, it depends on what the FBI is going to find. So, okay, I will be willing to change my mind if they find something. Now, let's compare that to the answer from Lindsey Graham.
Senator Graham, could you change your mind?
My mind's made up about Brett Kavanaugh, and it'd take a dynamite accusation because here's the deal. Dr. Ford, I don't know what happened, but I know this. Brett denied it vigorously, and everybody she named couldn't verify it. Is 36 years old. I don't see anything new changing.
Nothing. He doesn't see anything new changing his mind. Really? Wait. Okay, so let's go down the list here. For one, well, I don't know what happened. Well, that's obvious. You weren't there. That's why we were calling for an actual thorough investigation to look at all the different claims of sexual assault and or possibly gang rape that he may or may not been involved in. And look, there are questions on that, right? So, for example, Julie Swetnick, she's like, well, Brett Kavanaugh was present. He was actually there when there were gang rapes going on. But was he involved? Was he involved in the gang rapes? Well, that would be a good question to ask Julie Swetnick. Hey, FBI, you might want to get on that, right? Since you're allowed to do this investigation. Not only that, but Brett, well, he denied it vigorously. So we're doing the Trump thing of, well, he denied it. He denied it. What? I mean, I believe him. He didn't do it. He didn't do it because it was a strong, very strong denial. And of course, everybody she named couldn't verify it. Well, let's go through who couldn't verify it. There was PJ, and then there was her other friend that was also there. That friend was downstairs, right? And let me get the name of that person just so I can be absolutely correct here. PJ Smith and Leland Kaiser. So those are the people that were in the house but did not see what happened. Why didn't they see what happened? Because they weren't in the bedroom. You know who was in the bedroom? Mark Judge, as well as Ford and Kavanaugh. So, of course, they don't know what happened but Leland Kaiser also says, look, I believe Ford. Even though I wasn't there and I didn't see Kavanaugh and I didn't see what happened, I believe Dr. Blasey Ford. I believe her when she tells me this. I believe her account. But they don't talk about that. Lindsey Graham didn't talk about that. Those are the people that they're saying, well, everybody she can name couldn't verify it. But they still believe her. And anybody who is watching who isn't looking at it through a purely partisan lens believes her. Whereas, look, her testimony, she was credible. And look, she was a little emotional. But for the most part, not for the most part. She absolutely held it together, recounting her story. She had a lot of, detail in that story, and some detail that was missing that could be backed up if you looked into, for example, the dates that Mark Judge was working at the supermarket. So that's what the investigator should be looking into. Some of those things that help back up and corroborate that story. And look, there's a possibility they could find exculpatory evidence as well in that. And so that would go to Kavanaugh's. That would help out Kavanaugh's case. And then let's go to the final thing, of course. Oh, it's 36 years old. So because it's 36 years old, we shouldn't look into it and we shouldn't believe anything. Well, that's funny because recently there were, boys who were molested by Catholic officials, Catholic church officials that had come out after 30 years. Should we not believe them as well? Should we apply that same standard and say, well, we don't believe you. It was over 30 years ago. So we should be very, very skeptical. No, we're not going to do that. Look, here's the thing about Lindsey Graham. He is a partisan hack at this point, and he's actually an incredibly terrible person. Now, look, with Lindsey, Lindsey Graham used to hang out with John McCain. John McCain's also a terrible person, but I might actually say something controversial. I actually think he's less horrible than Lindsey Graham, because recently, ever since John McCain died, Graham has gotten worse. He's gotten more outspoken for war. He's already incredibly pro-war. He is a pro-war hawk. So he wants to go to a war with Iran. He wants to bomb the crap out of innocent people, right? John McCain also warmonger, right? Lindsey Graham might actually be more of a warmonger than John McCain. And maybe it was John McCain that was holding Lindsey Graham back from some of his worst impulses. Or there's the other theory, of course, that he just wants to suck up to Donald Trump even more, which is both hilarious and sad at the same time. And this might be one of the ways. But I actually do think that Lindsey Graham is just a horrible person altogether, whether or not he's sucking up to Donald Trump. So, and just to say that there will be nothing that will change my mind from what we've seen. I don't care what the investigation finds. It has to be something explosive. And I just don't see it. I just don't see myself changing my mind. That is the ultimate problem with these people, right? With these top Republicans, people like Graham. They don't care about the evidence. They want to get Kavanaugh on the Supreme Court so that, of course, he can not only serve his donors, but he can also serve the base and hand over basically control of the Supreme Court to the far right for decades. And that's ultimately what they're doing. Republicans, as I said before, they're good about the long game. And with Kavanaugh, they want the long game. And with Donald Trump especially, look, if you want to get on Trump's good side, you defend Kavanaugh. And you defend him massively. And why is that? It's because, look, Kavanaugh is going to be deciding, if he gets in the Supreme Court, a case of double jeopardy see whether or not Donald Trump can bail out his friends. And in turn, his friends can help him out. That's what it's about. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.